Hey everyone, welcome to Exercise Check. In this video, we're going to be going over controllers and routers. Starting at our exercise, we start up here at 10.5 exercises, controllers and routing. As we can see in the first paragraph here, what this is describing is that you should have went through the videos in the previous sections before you come to this exercise. Going through those videos, you'll be building a project called Hello Spring that you should open into IntelliJ. That project should also have Hello Controller and a few other things that we've added during those videos. I do recommend not continuing on this video until those past ones have been completed. After we do that, the goal of this exercise is to get what we see on the screen here. We have that text box, a select, and then a button that says greet me. And then we're going to have specific functionality to go with this website. So reading a little bit more into it. So it says once we submit this form, it should say Bonjour Chris, because we have French and Chris selected, and it says greet me in that particular language. We see that to get that language dropdown, we're going to have to use the select element from back in our HTML days. To make sure we know more about that, click on the MDN documentation to see more about this HTML element. So first things first, let's go ahead and build our application to look like what we see on our screen. I come over here to my Hello Spring application, open it in IntelliJ. Again, what we want to do is that in the Hello controller here open on the screen, we want to modify this form that we built during those videos to have a select element inside of it. So we're going to do that now. For reference, I'm going to paste the select example from the MDN documentation for the select element here. Perfect. Now let's go ahead and build this select element. We see in the form that it needs to be between the text box and the button. So I see my text box is here and my button here. So therefore, I'm going to place it in between the two. Looking at my example, I know I need to start with select. And then we need to provide the name, which I'm going to do in single quotes, and I'm going to say language. Press enter, and then I want to supply my first option. They said the default should always be English. So therefore, my first option is going to be English. There we go. We've provided our first option. Let's go ahead and copy this because we need to make 4 more now. Perfect. And then I'm going to append a plus there. Just to make sure that I know where my select begins and ends, I'm going to add a quick tab there. Then down here, going to add the closing select tag. So there we go. I've created options for 4 more languages: Spanish, French, Italian, and German. So let's go ahead and save this and then start our server to see if these changes took effect. I see my application has started. I go over here, I come up here, open a new tab, and I say localhost 8080/form. Perfect. So I have my text box here, English, Spanish, French, Italian, and German, and then the button greet me. Let's see what happens if I type in Kyle, and then I press on English, greet me. Well, it says hello Kyle, and then it says hello up here. I go back, and what if I say I want to do Spanish? Greet me. And I still see it says hello Kyle. Well, this is because we are not sending exactly what language we want to greet our user in back to our controller yet. So now we need to do that. Looking at our instructions, we need to see how we do this. We want to do a get or do a post. Well, it says when the user submits a form via a post request, they should be greeted in the selected language. So that answers that question. We need to send this back in a post request. So let's go ahead and do that. You see that we're sending it back in a post request already on the form with that action hello. So this is all fine. But we need to go up to the post request mapping and make sure that we're taking in that parameter. So we know the new request parameter that we have is language, which is a string. We know it's a string because it's inside those quotations. And then out here, I'm going to make sure that language is coming in. So I'm going to just say in language, and there we go. So what this should say is a hello Kyle in English or hello Kyle in Spanish, just to see if language is coming back. We want to test this step by step to make sure everything's okay. So let's go ahead and restart our server and try this. Our application is restarted. We go back to here and we go back to our form. We refresh. Always make sure you refresh. Always make sure you refresh. Otherwise, those changes won't be there. We say Kyle, we say English, and then greet me. It says hello Kyle in English. Awesome. So our language is coming back now in that parameter. Let's move forward. It says we should include at least 5 languages. That's what we did. And now it says include a new public static method called createMessage in the hello controller that takes in a name as well as a language string. Based on that language string, you should display the proper greeting. Let's go ahead and do this. It said we needed to create a public static method that returned a string called createMessage that took in a name as well as a language. So I'm going to have 5 different languages to go through in order to create a message. So because I have this many languages, I'm going to go ahead and just do a switch case. Feel free to do an if statement if you'd like. So I have my case for English, and I'm going to return simply hello and then the name. Perfect. On to Spanish. In this one, I'm going to return hola and then the name. In this one, we're going to do French. For this one, we say return bonjour plus the name. For this one, we're going to do Italian. This one will return ciao and then the name. And finally, German, which returns hello and then the name. We'll make a default case in here in case one of our languages isn't known. Remember, it said that our default should always be English. So I'm going to go ahead and return the English translation as a default. We see that it gets upset because we have the same 2 cases up here. We have up here and down here, the default and the case for English. In that case, what I'm going to do is combine these cases by doing this. Now, if it's English or anything else, it will say hello. All right. Now we've created this method, createMessage. Now we have to implement it. So up here in my request mapping for that post, I want to take in that name and the language and create something to return. I'm going to call it proper greeting. And what I'm going to do is call to the hello controller .createMessage method that is static, hence why we called it directly from the hello controller. We pass in the name and we pass in the language. And then we have our proper greeting created. So we're going to return that back out to the user. Let's go ahead and restart this and try it. Perfect. We come over here, go back up to here, go back to our form, and make sure we refresh. Type in Kyle, English, greet me. It says hello, Kyle. Going back to the form. Now we want to be greeted in Italian. It says ciao, Kyle. One more time in German. Greet me, hello, Kyle. It looks like everything here is working great. Let's go back to our exercise. Looks like we have one bonus mission, 10.5.1. So it says instead of returning a greeting as just plain text, add a bit of HTML to make the response string look a little bit nicer. Cool, let's go ahead and do that. So we know proper greeting here is a string. And what this request response can do when we return something is include HTML to make things look prettier. So that being the case, what I can do here, just for very quickly, is say H3, make it a little bit nicer looking. We can do that to make the text look a little bit bigger. Let's go ahead and rerun this and try it. Come back up here, go back to our form, refresh. And now it's bolded and a little bit larger, looking a little bit nicer. Let's go ahead and add one more thing to it. Let's go ahead and add a style. I want the color, the text color, to be blue. Let's save that. Restart our server, stop and run. Everything's started. Come back over here, refresh, and type in Kyle once more. Greet me. Now it's blue with the bolded text. Great, we're making it look a little bit nicer. Feel free to add as much HTML here as you want, make it look as cool as need be. Going back to our exercise, looks like that's all it has for us today. That being said, we are all finished with this exercise. I hope this reintroduction to HTML and this introduction into controllers and MVC did help a little bit. Thanks for watching.